Good. You ready? Okay, it is now 4 o'clock. I'm going to call the curriculum committee meeting to order, noting all facility committee members present. There is no public comment, so we will jump right in to talk about the curriculum cycle adoption process.
So, thank you. I provided every one of you, and even the blank seats, would you guys like a copy of this? So, I sent it to everybody, but okay. So, it really started back with Brad back in 2018. We had conversations. At that time, I think it was Go Math that was kind of up for adoption. And then here at the high school, as a high school principal, Bill Clinton was still the president in our social studies books. So, we sat down with Brad, and we kind of had that conversation about creating a rotation of our adoption. So at that time, we kind of, as a team, sat down and figured it out. And so this is the cycle that started back in 2018. Every year, there's a different group that comes into cycle. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you are doing an adoption for that group. This past year was social studies.
Yep.
And social studies was still happy with where we're at. The irony is Trump is still president, even though it's the second term. So in that regard, there wasn't a new adoption that happened. And then you'll also see that the high school is just off of the other two buildings, because in general, they kind of try to, elementary districts try to kind of stick together, and then the high school kind of feeds off of that, or vice versa. And then, so that's kind of where we're at with that cycle. So when it comes to an adoption, let's say last year ELA was at the elementary and at the junior high. So the teachers themselves approach the principals and say, hey, here are some of the different groups we want to look at. Whether it's Savas, whether it's, what are some other ones you guys looked at besides Savas? Okay, so they reach out to these conglomerates, and then they send reps, they meet with the teacher groups and say, hey, these are all the bells and whistles that we can provide you. And then the teachers kind of have conversations amongst themselves with the administration. And then they kind of narrow down to one or two options that they really like. And then both schools, what we do is we have a parent night where the parents can come in, have a conversation, say, hey, you know, these are options we have. And then after that, they bring it to the board, and then they kind of talk to the board about their process. This is the one that we want. This is what we wanted. And then you kind of do the adoption process. And then it's there for another 4 to 5 years. So that's kind of the cycle that comes with. That's really at the elementary and junior high. At the high school, you don't have big programs like that. The math department just did an ACT prep in lieu of a curriculum development. So that's kind of how they kind of offset it. So that's kind of where they're at. In terms of what do they do from there, my goal as the superintendent, now when I was the principal, you can go on the website right now, when I was the high school principal, I had all of our maps uploaded onto the website. So my goal was, at the time, if I have a senior coming in the second quarter, I want the parent to be able to know if I'm taking, you know, English 9, roughly where they're going to be. So on the website, it has all of our high school maps. So we're going to continue to try to get those updated. Over the last year or so, I've really made a push with Ms. Black and Dr. Kwasny to get those junior high ones done. So our goal is December, we're going to have at least the first quarter on all websites. And then by February 18th, which is that Institute Day, we're going to have the full year from all buildings on the website. So for full transparency to the community, if I have a family coming in at any grade level, they're able to pull up the curriculum maps from any one of those, and they'll know roughly where they're going to be kicking into.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Of course, yeah, that's why I stopped. You had to look.
So the curriculum maps so I was gonna make sure this is what I'm looking at, this map, right?
Yeah, so if you can click on, yep.
So it's just the list of the courses, so it doesn't tell you.
No, if you click on it, those are hyperlinks.
Right, I know, and it's the syllabus. So it's a curriculum map with like the curriculum, the questions, the skills, and things like that. Is there a way to, and it says grade level 10, is there a way, I don't know, I just visually, there's a lot on that page, is there like a flow chart?
So there
You
is.
know what
a-
I mean? I was saying, like, I was looking at other schools' curriculum maps and how they do it, and it just set up, I don't know, just.
So the high
'cause-
school does have a curriculum guide that is published every year, so we could easily get that up there as well. Saying like if I'm in ninth grade English, I should go to 10th grade English, or I can go.
Correct, yeah, where do you, like,
Yeah.
because like, this is like, I mean, you click it open, but like, I know the flows of these, just cut, for sure. And the curriculum guide, I did not see on the school website.
That might be in school links.
I think it is, and then the only way to get us to get access is for us, our student, to invite us. So like when I was trying to figure out, like I'm looking for next year for my son about options for math, I need more information, so I don't have that
So the
information.
curriculum- sorry, the curriculum guide you'd like in the curriculum, or on our,
It-
somehow on that page?
So we'll put it on there probably at the top.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was assuming, because I remember when I got the invite, like last year or whatever, I'm like, oh, I was like, this is a lot, but I had no idea how to get to that otherwise. Like, if I was a parent coming into the district, they would not have access to the curriculum guide, because they have to get invited to see
Okay.
it.
That's-
So if there is one, I've never seen it, because it's in there, I don't know where,
Okay.
okay.
That's-
Just to ask
Okay.
on that, like, I don't know if people know that's where you get the curriculum maps. So you know how you go to BHS, like the staff, and it says like social studies? Couldn't there be like a link there to take you to the curriculum map page?
Well,
And then
there's,
we can-
right here. it's
Under
on
BHS.
So under
there.
BHS, it says
Yeah.
curriculum.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if people know like that's where they find them?
Yeah,
Like, I
which is
don't
under
know.
VHS, yeah, the map.
Or name it different? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, it's-
I just know
it's
people
there.
always like, I don't know what the kids are doing, and like,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's there, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Or maybe in a Stars Name letter. If you want to know what the curriculum is, this is where you go.
Yeah, just the the curriculum guide, 'cause I pulled up a couple with the descriptions.
They do have a spread, they do have something though that shows the order of classes, right? If you're in this and that.
No, well, I don't know what the curriculum guide might.
yeah.
I
We
think it
had,
does.
again, we
The curriculum
haven't
guide
taken this,
might,
we
yeah,
can-
I
I
would
thought
think-
I saw it somewhere.
It's in the
Yeah, if it's in there, that's
Yeah.
great,
It just
there
needs
was
to be
nothing,
suggested.
I
Yeah.
couldn't find
Yeah.
it, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't
it's,
school.
it is shared, I believe, in, when you guys start doing course selections in January, February, it's shared
Maybe-
there
It
too.
should with parents.
Maybe
as well.
that's where I've
Yep.
seen it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then along with this textbook adoption and the resource adoption, like, I'm kind of, like, I know elementary and because of they're more program-based, where high school is not so much program-based, it's more like curriculum-based. And I guess this is more for Mr. Meyer, so like, we have the rotation here, so curriculum drives what, like, there's the curriculum, and then the curriculum, based on what the curriculum you want to teach, then you pick the book. So do they revise the curriculum with this rotation too? Like, where is the curriculum, when is it reviewed?
So I can answer that. So your state standards drive your curriculum.
No, yeah, I know
So-
that,
So
but-
whenever, like, we just had a compliance check from ROE, so whenever there's updated things like that, if they're not in cycle, they're a year or so away, they will amend their curriculum to match what the state standards are requiring. And then when they're up for a new cycle, if they need a new assessment, or, I'm sorry, a new book or new series, that's when they'll go in and dig into that and say, all right, this, Labanca did it last time, it was a long time ago with social studies. I'm gonna make sure this is the book we have, because I think this is gonna drive us to where we need to go.
I guess this is what my question is. Okay, so like the standards, yes, they drive the curriculum, but when I open up the map, I see the topics and the curriculum standards and things like this. Now, maybe I ask, do the teachers get like a detailed curriculum? Maybe that's not posted here, that gets reviewed every year. Like, so most curriculums are like book, like thick of the detail, the topic, the resources, all the stuff that you revise and you look at every year to make sure you are doing these standards and make sure you update with any kind of mandates that go on. We have a rotation, every so many years, we have our curriculum review team that we go in, and so like, it's almost like, here's the guide for a brand new teacher, literally, you can teach off this. It's not just standards and you try to like find stuff to do based on the standards. Like, do you guys have like a
I would
written
say, I
curriculum?
have not seen that. I don't think we
So
have.
your
here it
curriculum is just standards?
I would say that they
So-
probably have stuff off ISB that they have to follow if it's from whatever, if they have those standards there. But to say that I have a packet here to say, here is everything, I don't know if I've seen that.
So you don't do things like, like the
Well, I think-
objectives, like these are the objectives based on the standards, because the standards are so like, and again, I'm very because I teach the science, I know what the standards look like for that. They're so open-ended that like you actually have to go through and take those standards and you have to, explain what you're gonna be actually teaching, so per their standards, because they're so big. So like, and we like have it written out per, quarter, per unit, per topic, all that kind of stuff,
It
so
looks
like.
like they do in some of the subjects. 'Cause
So-
I'm in English right now and they
So I just
actually
didn't know,
list
like, is there like in the, curriculum guides usually get EPSR, like, do you guys do that then? Or is it just, here's the topics, the standards,
The
go
essential
for it?
questions, those types of things, but I don't know, I haven't been in the weeds with that
Okay.
yet. I mean, those are wonderful
But
questions.
those are
I
the
could ask.
expectations during and they do a lot of department level during the school improvement days. So as a department, that is the expectation.
So it's more like just talked about, this is what we're doing based
Yes.
off of this, but nothing on paper,
And I also
really,
looked
per
at-
There's
se.
nothing that comes from Mike and I and says,
Okay.
here.
No, and I don't think, we also didn't want to get so detailed in our curriculum apps that we didn't want to hold us or pin us down to a
Only teaching those
particular thing.
texts.
So we
Yeah.
try to be general-ish, I think,
And
there.
it
I am
look-
hoping that our teachers have done what you're saying and do have more precise and specific
It looks like
information.
some of the courses, like I just pulled up American literature and US history as my kids are in, and it looks like they did put like suggested texts where they put like 5 or 6 short stories, like for the poetry
yeah,
unit.
yeah, and I'm
Or, like,
looking at science and
If
stuff
I'm
like
brand
that,
new and I don't know anything, I could at least know I can teach these stories for that unit and that'd be appropriate. But it doesn't look like every department went through it.
That route, yes.
Which could be, yeah, you want to have autonomy, but maybe the ones that don't put suggested text they could use. So if there is a brand new teacher, someone's got something to start with, but not limited to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be posted on here, I just
No.
didn't know if like,
Yeah.
there is something
So-
separate
so
that's
the-
needed.
Yeah.
To be fair, the webpage you're looking at and what we're giving teachers
Right.
aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
I
Like,
just
this
want,
is a lot for
I just want
kids.
my parents or families to
No, this
know
is, yeah, for sure, this is good, yeah.
that these are the standards, these are the topics,
Yeah.
these are probably a little bit, some of the teachers went a little bit further and said, yeah, but I would not take that and give it to the new teacher and say,
No, okay.
good luck.
Good luck.
The new teachers are assigned a mentor. Oftentimes, they're given the former teacher's Google Drive with everything.
Right,
So,
I just didn't know because of the textbook adoption, if like there is a sit-down review year, like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, like is there, okay, this is your textbook this year, do your teachers get to meet and talk about curriculum and update
Oh,
based
yes.
on, that's what I'm
I
asking.
would say
Is there
yes.
like a process
And
for
I would
that?
say math right now
Yeah.
is up, we've got the ACT that they just bought this program, but they are up again, so they are supposed to be working this
Okay,
year.
that's
on this
what I'm
side.
asking, is
Yeah.
like, is there like
Yes,
a
I would
curriculum
say
review
100%,
process
yes.
where you do update all
Yes.
the files, all the stuff that
I
they
would say
get?
yes.
And then at the end, pick the resource that you want to get?
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. And so the next one that's coming up is January 5th, is the next full institute day. The afternoon, some of that's going to be spent on this, and then the February, I'm sorry, I should.
18th.
The 18th one, that afternoon, again, is going to be, whether it's grade level or content level, another diving into curriculum stuff. So there's going to be 2 upcoming where the full focus is going to be, January 5th is, we're looking probably for a vertical alignment conversation, K-12. So that's probably a little bit more what's going to happen January 5th, but we will try to separate some time where they can meet with their teams and go through the stuff and make sure that they've updated these things with the expectation that February they will be online.
And how often is vertical alignment? Twice a year? Like when all three schools get to meet?
We try to do it, yeah, because
Like twice a year.
we have 4 institute days and that's
Mm-hmm.
not a whole lot of time to cover everything the state makes me cover. So,
Um,
Can I ask a high school question? I thought about it. But the new foreign language requirement, so they all have to take 2 classes.
so that's starting freshman 28, 29.
Right.
So
Somebody
we're
asked-
still pretty far away from there.
Yeah,
I
do
do
they
have-
have to take Spanish? Is there a way we can survey I'm guessing like 3rd through 8th grade to see what language they would want, so when we get to there, if it's not Spanish, we can start to look for somebody.
We can, I mean, that's 28, 29 is 4 years down the road, 3 years down the road.
4 years?
As much as I don't want to be rude, I mean, that's a
No, I'm trying to think of
tomorrow.
when it was.
Yeah, I could have swore it was 26, 27
It-
freshmen.
then they
We
moved it.
looked it up, it is
Okay.
28, 29 freshman year.
Oh, okay, that's why I couldn't remember
So,
what year that was.
But, I mean, one of the things I would like to see is an ASL here, but again, that's a future Jack
that's not
conversation.
I'll have a conversation with you
Okay.
later about that, because we have that as well.
ASL.
So that's not until fall of 28?
Yeah.
I thought it was sooner, that's why.
So did I, 100, I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah.
99% sure it was, but
They
I was in
just
Steve,
moved it back,
yeah, I was in
Moved it back
Steve's
to-
office.
It
with
Oh,
them.
my
One more
goodness.
year, just, I think this year they moved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also consideration, again, possibilities of having an 8th grade Spanish class taught by a high school teacher that would give them that high school credit.
So you
At
can
least
get
1
to
year
the-
done.
So there's kind of things we're looking at to address that concern.
Because I was gonna be like, do they have to, can we offer another language? I'm like, well, you have to have the kids that want to take it.
Well, that and you have to have somebody who's able to teach it.
That's
Yeah.
the other, so what, if we couldn't, are you saying that you would be interested in a, like a self-paced online for kids? I think that'd be trouble. I think that's hard. I think they
Mine
find
did it for Spanish too.
And I
And
know it's been done, Grand Park does it right now,
Yeah,
I believe.
you
I
have,
don't think they have a teacher.
That's because, yeah, that's.
yeah, you have
It is.
3 months through this
You're-
one place.
you're not gonna get a lot of
It's
support from the
hard.
superintendent on
Okay,
that.
That's great. I'm with you, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that either. I don't want kids sitting on the computer.
Yeah,
trying to
no,
themselves
no.
I
and
mean,
fly.
it was, the curriculum was challenging.
Some-
He learned it, it
some
was
kids can
great.
make it, But
And he did very, very well. I was like, wow. And there was a teacher, but it was 3 months and it was not easy.
Sure. Okay.
I would not do it as a,
No, I'm with you. I'm good. I just didn't know where you're aiming for.
Yeah.
oh, that's good to
No,
know.
I don't believe Rosetta Stone is the way I'm gonna send my kids.
Perfect. Support, it can sure be.
It's a- of course it's a support,
But
Mr.
it's-
Meyer.
I don't wanna- Yes.
Just like a textbook is a support, it's not a,
Okay, perfect. Good.
so that's kind of the process. Some of the things we're doing to try to expand opportunities here, KACC is continuing to grow. They just listed a bunch of new opportunities that they're looking to do. Obviously, the flight was the last one. I don't want to put it out there quite yet what they're looking at. There's like 6 or 7, but they're always looking to expand. I made contact when I was up in Chicago with the Dean of Education at Governor State, similar to the Prairie State College plan. They actually do have a dual credit teacher courses that they are offer. And so I'm going to reach out to Dr. Conrad and see if that's something that we could potentially do here at Beecher, whether it's sending kids to Governor State or have. We are really, really lucky that Prairie State sends somebody here. I don't know if some, a little bit bigger, Governor State, a little bit further away. I'm not sure if they'd be willing to do the same thing, but always make that as a possibility. So providing more dual credit opportunities. And then Mr. Meyer's still looking at that possibility of, he's a proponent of the work to school. What's the other thing you're looking, early graduation, he's still kind of, he wants to make sure that looks nice and clean and ready before he brings it to you guys. To make sure, the big one is going to be the requirement for 4 years of English. How do you make that work? And so he's talking to a few other schools. Steve is working really, really hard on it, so those are all kind of extra opportunities we're offering there.
Any other specific questions on the curriculum cycle or adoption process? Okay, now we're on to other. I just have a question about the weighted plus minuses. Where, like, the rationale behind it? I was looking at, trying to look at all the schools in the area about, like, there's some schools that do plus minus, they still put, but it's not weighted. I'm just curious about positive, negatives, why, like, where is it?
So that was well before me as a principal. You're referring to like an A as a 3, an A, that's a bad example. A B is a 3, a B plus is 3.3, an A minus is the
3.67.
And B minus
3.67.
is 2, whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
So that was well before me. That is just a scale that it was always existed. The change in weight was, I changed the weighted scale, I think my second year, from the AP bump of 1.5 down to 1, and the honors bump from 1 to half. So that was something I brought before the board, but it's always just kind of been there. That thirds.
Is that something that people are okay with? It's not a common practice, I don't think. So I don't, and the positive is a B plus can be I like but like the B minus, you're at the, I don't know, I don't.
So like you're saying, like 80 to 89 is just a B? Or
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
most schools do, 80
Yeah.
to 89, it's a B, you get 3.0.
I'm
I don't know
So-
if I've ever, I don't think,
I have a
yeah.
question,
Yep.
non-education person. Is this just at the high school, like for the GPA, is that what?
I mean, there's theoretically a GPA at the junior high, but
I mean, in the
this
end.
is really the high school.
And this is what really matters with scholarships and things like
Yeah.
that. So we have different scholarships that we are becoming, because if a kid gets a B minus or an A minus, our kids are getting, dinged on that compared to a school like our surrounding schools. So are we hurting our students by doing this? Or again, if we're doing the A plus, are we helping our students doing this? So is this something we should look at?
So I have no problem having Mike and Steve kind of investigating where we stand with surrounding schools.
I pulled some schools up, some don't have it at all on there, I
Yeah.
couldn't find it, and some just do straight up, they have the weighted, for honors and AP still, totally
Yeah.
agree with that, within the school, but
And I-
not like the plus and the minus.
Yeah, and I don't know if he could pull the number of kids who have the B minus versus the B plus, because then you theoretically hurt 17 kids, but you helped 28 kids because the plus gives you the extra 1/3.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, how, what are we doing a service to our kids, or are we not doing a service to our kids?
And then, like I said, this
comparing.
was well before me.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Wright had it when I first got here, and I was
Yeah.
like, if I remember
So-
right.
Yeah, I think it's something, since it's been so long, maybe it's something we need to really look into and to see what the teachers think, what are the benefits for our students for college and the negatives of what's happening with what's happening.
I can tell you, anytime you do anything to the GPA system here in Beecher,
Oh.
it is not well received.
As long as you have support to show the reasoning why, I think that's very valid.
Okay.
You understand, yes. I'm all about data and research. You show to support your answer.
Evidence.
That's it, evidence.
Yeah, I'm looking at a few schools, no one does that.
I didn't know that people stopped doing that. No idea.
Well, the last school, I know they do the minus and plus, but not like change the rate crazy.
Oh, gotcha.
Right, like I know the schools would do that on the report card,
Mhm.
but not on the GPA.
Gotcha.
I was surprised when my kids were applying to college, how colleges don't look at it at all. Like
'Cause they take out the
want
weight.
the high schools to sign it without
The
any
weight.
weight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they take
weighted.
that out.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of the scholarships, I know, they still use sometimes, so, yeah. But yeah, no, they take out the weight, yeah.
I'd be curious if you changed just the weighted grade to be 1, 2, 3, 4, without the thirds. And, because once you have weighted grades, good Lord, if I have a B, I'm getting an A in another class. So the weighted grade still allows you to do class rank and things like that, but if you do the unweighted, which is what most colleges are asking for, scholarships ask for, I know if you go to 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, now you have a apples to other students.
For all levels you're talking about?
For non-weighted, I would say, yeah, 9 through 12, just do it that way. For
Oh,
non-weighted.
for the pluses and minuses. you're
For the plus minus, yeah,
Oh,
have the
okay.
non-weighted only
The
have 1, 2, 3,
non-weighted
4.
score. Yeah, because then how does that work when you're doing it for colleges then? Yeah, because,
You guys for both.
I know,
Like,
but
had
if you're
A's
doing
for
it
both.
non-weighted for college, but our school technically weights pluses and minuses, what are you giving them?
Well, no, it's, the weight,
That's
the
not-
weight is based on you get extra.
Right, but I'm just
that's-
saying, that's kind of like a weight incident itself, because
Technically,
don't
yeah.
most schools just do A, B, C, D, and
But
that's what you're
that-
giving the score?
No,
I don't think so.
I
No,
know
okay.
my kids' high school did the plus and minus, so it was like the 7, swing and 2 down. Those were included.
They still keep that, okay.
They keep that part, but not the weight for the AP.
Right,
plus
right,
or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, just curious on that.
We'll give something.
Something to
for-
think about.
yeah, Something for Steve to do, he's not busy. He's not busy against
No, that's-
February,
that's- we look into anything.
yeah.
Maybe, I mean,
Let's see
we
what's
keep it. I
around
don't
people
know,
are
just to
doing.
see, just look into it since it's one of those.
And I'd like to see what some colleges say.
Mm-hmm.
Find out from them. I mean, it'd be great if, 13 schools do it, 25 don't do it, but at the end of the day, the ones who matter are the colleges that we're, what's Valpo want us to do, what does Illinois State want us to do?
Yeah, where the kids are going, or most of our, even asking the kids here, where do you think you might want to apply to, just to see.
Going back to the curriculum cycle and adoption process, we, like, I know they send out different materials, do we ask the teachers, like, what they want to do and all that, and get their feedback before we fully adopt?
They're 100% involved in this stuff. A lot of them will even
So last-
pilot it, things like that.
And last year, when we were up for reading, I sat down and talked to, K1, 2 is a different reading than 3, 4, 5, but I talked to 3, 4, 5, hey, we're up for reading, do you guys want to look into something else? They had said no. They were interested in some possible supplemental things, like not a whole new series, so we looked at some different supplemental things.
Okay.
But after looking at things, they decided they were good with what we had and didn't want to.
It's very rare you'll have decisions that are made that it's just made by these three or
Yeah,
me. It's,
I
yeah,
figured.
especially related to this. No, it's a great
Yeah.
question. A lot of this stuff is, I don't want to say bottom top, but it's,
Right, gotcha,
yeah.
okay.
At the end of the day, I'm not involved in the English curriculum. I trust that she is doing it, and her teachers are telling her what they need and what they want and what's going to make them successful.
Okay.
So obviously I'll look over it, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I'm not going to step in and say, well,
Nitpick.
I like that you
Yeah.
chose Savas, but I don't. I'm going to have you do this one instead.
Gotcha.
Actually, now that I thought about it, along the lines of that, so the teacher's like running the curriculum, like deciding, and then, so is it, I guess it's different in every building. So is there like a lead teacher in each area that you have that does like the so like, let's say like K through whatever's doing it, is there like just the group of teachers working on it, like, are you like the lead of each building in charge of the curriculum? Or is like, you just kind of let your teachers?
Well, so the answer.
You don't try to, I mean,
Yeah,
you
no, I
don't
know.
try to, any question I'm gonna ask, but I'm trying to get there.
It's a really good question, yeah, but you have to remember, we're a very small, so.
Right.
So her 8th grade teacher is Schrader, that's it. Her 5th grade, or 6th grade teacher is.
So a lot of it's just the one or two
it's-
anyways.
Yeah,
So,
they meet as a
but
team and
yeah.
those conversations, but
Okay.
Schrader's not in charge of Tilgis, who's in charge of Ploger, because they're all different.
Different, okay.
Now, at the elementary, you have, out of the 3 teachers, you have one who is a specialty teacher in math, you have
Well,
one
that's
that,
only for like 4th and 5th grade.
so, yeah, so that teacher will take the
They all teach
lead.
everything.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that I have a lead person for, I mean, some of the grade levels have, just because over the years, some
Just
of them
steps ahead.
take,
Mhm.
the lead in a certain area because they're more comfortable in that area, but I wouldn't say that there is an assigned person for each grade level.
Okay.
But I would say within our department, I would say like Ms. Chauvin, I would lean on her to say, make sure we're taking care of this. Can I come to you? I don't really want to go to everybody all the time. I'd like to make sure I can talk to you and then you can divvy it down for some.
Point person.
Yep, they have leadership teams that do more than just the curriculum, but yeah.
Okay. And then like, then they go to you guys, each one of you, and say, this is what we want, and then it comes up to here. Okay. Because here's my question then, okay, curriculum is obviously a large piece of the picture here. As admin, do you think you need more of like another leadership role for curriculum? Or do you think it's able to be taken care of through the teams and the teachers as is? Has it ever been brought up, because do your teachers get time, like paid time out of school to do this? Or is it only during Institute days?
We have some that take Summer Institute or that work during the summer. We'll give them 20 hours. I think it's
Summer
kind of where
program.
we're at with that to help supplement their time and effort over the summer. But I would say,
Loaded question,
me
but yeah.
personally,
I know.
I'm more of a facilitator. What do you need me to do? How can I help you do your job as a professional? Am I scouring over curriculum and then going to Mrs. Chauvin and saying, you should really look at it? Absolutely not. I trust them as professionals. What can I get you? Do you want me to talk to other, or Steve and I, you want us to talk to other school? That's, I feel my role is. I'm not saying it's the best role, but that's how I feel comfortable to support my teachers.
We did a lot of it together, where like an SIP day, we would take that day and the whole team would meet together in the conference room and we would Zoom with one of the reps, like let's say it was, Witten Wisdom. We would do a Zoom with them, or the rep would come in and talk to all of us as a group, so the whole team and myself, and then we would kind of all bounce questions off of each other and with the reps to kind of find out what we felt would be a good fit for us and what questions we had, so we kind of all work as a team.
Yeah, when we did math, it was the same thing. We were looking for anyone who wanted to be involved. Obviously, I wanted to make sure that we had someone in the K-1-2 span, and then somebody from 3-4-5, and a special ed teacher at a minimum, you know, someone there. And then same thing, we spent a lot of time either on PD day or before school, after school, meeting with people, talking as a group, pros and cons. When we didn't have everyone, obviously we didn't have everyone, but we shared a lot of like Google Docs of here's the people who did have more time to look. We actually had a meeting, a staff meeting where we had created like a slideshow of pros and cons of what we have seen on this series so far, what we've seen on this series so far, shared some things, you know, take a look at what we have, because they all give you like a free login, you know, so you can see their stuff online and that. So those people who were part of that committee, we put those things together so that the rest of the staff could try to get a feel for it, even though they might not be at those meetings and diving as deep into curriculum.
Do you think, and are you happy with how that goes effectively? Because my question is, do you think there needs to be a curriculum person, like separate from you guys, that is in charge of curriculum to like pull off, like role, because you guys all have a lot of roles in your position, to do, like, to be either in charge, like, again, there's a lot of ways it can look.
Yep.
Because, you know, but is that needed? I don't know, like, is it working well? Is this how, you know, how you guys do it? Is it effective and you're good with it? Or is there
I mean,
something that, like, you guys need more help with and time, you know, like if there was someone else per building, per district, whatever, is that something that you guys have ever talked about needing?
I would not turn down help in that area, to be honest, but I don't know how anyone else feels. I feel like it would maybe, not maybe, it probably would be helpful to be more cohesive across buildings. I think that is something that could probably be better, and someone who, I mean, you guys have I don't have anyone else in my building, so sometimes it is hard to spend time, as much time as I would like to on that. I think it probably would be valuable, for sure.
I would agree with that. I think we've grown accustomed to just kind of doing it ourselves, but having somebody to guide us who has the time to meet with all the different groups to kind of oversee everything and help with consistency, like you're saying, do we have all of the objectives and all the tasks, all the things that you want on the curriculum maps and just in general for, you know, your plan for your department. I think that would be great. But, you know, we don't have that, so we're doing our best, and I think it is working well. I think our teams, we have small teams at our building, so I think we work well together and we get it done, but I think, of course, that would be awesome to have.
Something out there, I don't know if it's something that's,
From one centralized person, that would be probably.
Even just like the order, and I know it's a lot more than that, but even just all of that and the communication with the reps, and then you have, I have separate folders with like 1,000, because I want all of the teachers' input. I want them to pick what they want, but I don't want them to spend the time of contacting the reps, getting back to them, putting in the orders, all of that nonsense. It's so time consuming, and
even
that.
on
That's
the
what I
year
do.
of.
That's not their
That's
job,
my
you know,
job.
so
And even to think of the year that you are implementing it. You want to be able to like really follow up with them, hey, how is that going? Like, do you need more support?
Help
Do you
us
need
guide the
this?
PD
How can we
better.
do that? And that is different. I mean, I want to believe I'm doing that the best that I can, but.
with
if
what you
there
have,
was
you're doing the best
someone
you, yeah, right, and that's what I'm
job
saying, is
that
it
was-
something that,
Yeah.
A lot of little
I would
administrative
probably
tasks with
done
that.
better if it was someone's job.
And even just getting the input from the teachers of, you know, to, like I said, help us guide that PD, because they have they have the basics, right, but they always want to know, what do you want us to touch on? How does this look? They have their generic one, but that kind of stuff, and then it's kind of like you're going to everybody, or you go to the same person and you don't want to wear that person out. And you want to get an opinion from everybody too, so, for all those reasons.
thank you. Any Any others?
I emailed you a bunch of questions.
You did.
I think the junior high, a lot of parents got pretty kerfuffled about the IAR test and how it was being done. So I don't know what, and I know the elementary is the same. Like my kid was told she was leveled and she would never be like in any other level group. And that her IARs in fourth grade was used in the junior high. Yeah, but that was how they're gonna place them in the junior high classes, and then when they get to the junior high, a lot of
She was
parents.
told that by a staff member?
Yes. That the fourth grade IR is a score they use to put them in sixth grade because you don't get the spring IR scores back. But a lot of parents were thinking, well, my kid has an A in like, I don't know, sixth grade math. But now they're getting pulled for intervention because their IR math score was low. And they're being removed from electives. So I think there was a lot of, I'm gonna say confusion about how the IR is used versus like what they've been used to.
So we use a combination from the elementary school, the fifth grade team, they give us a spreadsheet and it has their IAR scores, it has their end of the year test, IXL star grades, teacher recommendation, are those all the
Yeah.
things? It's a spreadsheet with all the information. So it is one piece of the puzzle, but I wouldn't say we heavily weight that more than anything else. Especially because like you're saying, it's from fourth grade, we don't really have that data until later. I would say the biggest stock that we put into those scores are teacher recommendation and their grades. So it's certainly not just based on the IAR. And then for leveling, that would only be for the accelerated classes, and all the other classes are heterogeneously mixed. So we don't level all of the different groups.
I guess my
It's just
question is,
for
why is a
accelerated.
standardized test used to put kids in groups? Because it's a knowledge-based test, not a skills-based test?
What groups? What groups?
Like in elementary, like the ability grouping.
It's one thing that we look at, it's not used to put them in groups.
Again, this is me as a reading teacher. Standardized tests have no bearing on their reading abilities. So like, I know you guys use STAR. There's a curriculum test. What was it? Envisions?
That's
Like-
a math, yeah.
Not Envisions. Oh, the Super Kids. Like that's a curriculum test. That's not a benchmark. Because that's the stories. But when you guys use STAR, like I guess my question is, why aren't we using the entire suite of STAR to screen and benchmark kids? Like why, you don't need like 100 different benchmarks. Like if you buy STAR, like we purchase it, like you use the whole suite, I don't see why a standardized test needs to be involved. Because like I know, if you look at and I asked him, it's like, he knows I'm gonna say this. If you look at Nate's SAT score in math, and you look at his AP test, like you would never put that kid in AP calculus. Like he got like a 560 on the math, twice, both times. And I was like, kid. And he never did well on the IR. Like the math, the standardized test was always low. But he got a 5 on AP Calc. So if that standardized test was being used to place him, or at all in the conversation, like you would have misplaced somebody. And I guess that is the concern that a lot of parents have is Power School has put the kids in high, middle, and low.
No.
There are screenshots I have of parents' grades in Power School which says 5H for high grouping.
I
And-
just found that out today, honestly. And we do have a high, which I did not hide from anyone, like we talked about ability grouping. I did not know that it was going to say that. But we do not have a medium or a low class. There's one high group and then the other two groups are heterogeneous groups.
So I guess why even have high? Like, my thought is a WIN group should be the time to provide the support systems, not the classroom. The classroom, they all should be given the same curriculum K through 5.
So, that was a decision that we talked about as a staff. You know, we've spent a lot of years, especially looking at math, how we can raise our scores and different things that we can do. And we've tried a lot of different things. And one of the things that was brought to me was, that had been said multiple times by teachers was, in every one of our classes, we have a group of kids that are ready to move a little bit faster. Could we try that? So that was what we tried, and even when we started, I mean, this is only the second year that we've done it. It's not a decision that's made forever. It's a decision that we said we would try, see if it makes a difference, see how we feel as teachers, if we feel like it has value, if we, again, see a positive difference in that or not. And then it's something that we talked about it at the, not the end of the year, but end of third quarter, when we start thinking about the next year. We talked about it with staff last year. We will absolutely have those conversations again and see if we find value in that. And will absolutely have that taken away. I did not know that it was going to say that on in Power School. I did not.
These are the teachers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I
it
mean,
shocked
I
a
did
lot
not-
of
I
parents
did not
that were
know.
like,
I mean, obviously, Mr. Duncan asked, like, when we were making those groups, right? He asked which, because they put, we give them the groups and they do that, but, that was not intentional in any way. And again, I did not know, and nor did the teachers know that that's how it was put in Power School. And then you had asked about STAR Suite. As far as what we use the STAR Adaptive Test for both reading and math. We also use the oral fluency, the oral reading fluency for that part. We have just started using, third grade is the only one that we can use the math for fact fluency. Third grade is the only one that has the normed scores for multiplication fact fluency. And then for kindergarten and first grade, we don't use STAR early literacy because we did in the past. We didn't feel like it gave us fair representation because it adds some math questions. So even though it's called STAR early literacy, there's 7 or 8 math questions, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it can, when you're looking at scores, if you have a student who's strong in math, it can elevate what looks like a good reading score, or a kid who's poor in math, it can pull down what looks like, make something look like a worse reading score than what they are really using. So we use the individual measures for kindergarten and first grade, so we look at letter naming, letter sound, nonsense words, so we use a bunch of those measures in kindergarten and first grade. I think end of first grade, spring, they use oral reading. By then, all the kids are reading enough that they can use the oral reading fluency. So we do use different parts of the STAR Suite. And then as far as why we use the curriculum-based tests, a lot of the pieces of the STAR Suite have to be given individually, and it's a lot of time for the teachers to do that individually, especially when you're talking about the upper grade levels, like 4th and 5th grade, for instance. So Ms. Doyle has all the 4th graders for reading. So when she administers oral reading fluency, she's listening to every single student 3 times a year, which is fine. It's good for her to hear that and listen to that, but that is a lot of time for her, which right now, I try my best to find a sub, a day or 2, to help her do that. So if we are then adding additional things from the STAR Suite that have to be done individually, all those tests are at least a minute a student. Time you're going in and out, it just isn't the most, the teachers didn't feel like it was the most efficient use of time. So then we talked as a staff about, let's look at something that we feel is a fair representation of what the students are doing, something that we're already giving the students, that we're not asking for an assessment just for an assessment's sake. And that was when they talked about we're already using this Envisions test, let's use this test, the middle of the year test, we're already using this whatever Journeys test, or we're already using this cold reading passage to measure their comprehension. Can we use this? Can we have this be part of what we're looking at when we're comparing students? Yes, the teachers aren't feeling like they're overly assessing, because that's a conversation we have a lot too. They don't want to feel like they're testing the kids too much. So they feel like it's something that's giving them valuable information, and it's something that they're already using with students.
Any other questions, comments, others?
Oh, the last one was AI. We had a couple
So-
parents email about AI.
So I can address that.
and digital
So
literacy.
part of Press Plus 120, I made a mention probably at the beginning of the year when we
Yeah.
adopted one of the press. I have a press policy, I have a policy that I think I showed you guys that kind of the bone structure of it from other district, kind of adapted it to what Beechers would represent. So part of Press Plus 120, in addition to that, I'm gonna bring that to you. And the policy that that you guys would assign isn't digging into what the teachers do and don't do. It is Joe Duncan will be in charge of a committee that ensures the safety and proper usage of AI, so and so on and so forth. In terms of, do we do a curriculum right now? Do we teach AI to kids? No, we don't do it. There's not a single one of us, I double checked, nobody goes in and says, hey, today, let's open up Gemini and let's do our stuff. They have addressed it with their staff, because, especially at the high school, because yes, there are kids who are going on ChatGPT and doing their papers that way. So we've made it very clear, if you have an expectation of a student doing a writing assignment, the old school pen and paper are gonna come back out. Because once you assign a kid to take it home and do it, they're gonna use it. We've also had a few cases here where we've had students who have used our own Chromebooks, gone to that website, they have been reported, whether either have been or will be reported to the principal for cheating. So it's not, we're making it very clear, we're not allowing it to be used as a mode of cheating. And then on March 25th, we actually have from the Learning Center, a gentleman coming down, and that's gonna be our half-day PD. They're gonna talk to our staff about cybersecurity, SOPA, and then we're gonna spend over almost 2 hours on AI usage in the classroom for teachers. And so my philosophy is going to be, I need to make sure my teachers are comfortable with what it looks like, how we can use AI to help the teachers prepare and get ready, to possibly provide feedback. But at no point in time are we going to broach the subject or step into the realm of, now let's go and talk to the kids about how we're gonna use AI to do our work. They've been taught, I assume they have been, actually I know they have been, AI is cheating if you go on, take a picture of your math problem and copy it. That's the AI that people are thinking about, that we're going to allow that to happen and kids are going to learn. The AI aspect of it right now, we're trying to avoid the cheating, but we're trying to, if you don't,
You have to embrace it.
yeah, it's a
part
tool,
of our
guys.
life.
I think we
Yeah.
also,
It is, yeah.
we
It's
also
a-
wanted more like the safety, like thinking about like, I don't know, the email that one parent sent, just going online, the privacy, what kids are Googling.
So,
I know we use GoGuardian, I know Beecher has something too.
So that's one of the things he's gonna talk about with our staff
Okay.
members as well, because Joe talked about us for a couple minutes. ChatGPT is an awful site to use, because it quite literally will take anything you type into it, and it now becomes part of the cloud, as my dad calls it.
They call it crowdsourcing.
It's out there. However, there's other mechanisms that you can use as a teacher that isolates it just to your, whether it's a server or our, it's within our realm, so if you're using it to assist, it doesn't go out to the system. And that's one of the things the guy from the Learning Center is gonna come and talk about. Why you don't use ChatGPT is a bad source, I mean, it gets you what you want, but it's leaking a lot of things. There are other resources for our teachers to use. So that's kind of this first step into AI that I believe would be the best step for this school district. Teachers learn, and one of the things they're gonna also show teachers is, if you really are worried about kids writing papers, so I was at a seminar down in Springfield, and the guy put it up there. He put up 2 copies and said, which one's the human? So 85% of us, me included, chose the one on the right because there was spelling errors, there was even some of the errors within the conversation. The other one was pretty nicely done. And he goes, let me show you exactly how I wrote AI to write that one. You're all wrong. He goes, and how many of you guys went through your AI generator, your AI thing?
Turnitin.com.
Yeah. Everybody rose their hand. How many found it? 0. So Turnitin.com is
It's
completely
yes,
wasteless now.
it is.
So that's why we've really stressed, if you want to do writing samples, look kids, this is called pen, or type it in front of me kind of thing. So that's kind of where we're at with AI. We're nowhere in terms of kids, curriculum. But we are making sure that they're not cheating.
Because some of the concerns, like I know like in 4th and 5th grade, they start doing their research projects. And these kids are going on Google and sometimes, you know, like teaching them the safety behind being on the computer. And then that was also a concern.
Well, Ms. Reels always taught internet
Yeah,
safety.
and
That's completely different than AI.
Right, and I think that was
Yeah.
with AI because ChatGPT,
Yeah.
everybody uses, you know, like kids are like photo math and all that, was that, do the kids understand the safety factors of, and I'm like, well, they've got the
Yeah.
computer, you can lock them down.
Yeah,
you
we
know.
still have the internet safety, we still have our
Okay.
line wise that if you type something you shouldn't, indicate
And don't we have
immediately.
custodial?
Yeah, I was gonna
where
say,
the
there's that
parents
custodial
can-
there, too.
The parents
Yep.
can see.
So once they leave here, exactly, you have every right to it
Right.
as well.
So maybe that's just something that when kids are doing these projects, I know in high school they're gonna do that research project too, like something that gets put somewhere at a curriculum app or something that the students are learning in 4th through 12th grade about how to, you know, the computer parameters, because I don't know if a lot of people know that you,
Oh, internet safety was something we talked about before AI. Research
Yeah.
projects we did, well, I mean, I used an encyclopedia when I was a kid, but Meyer probably used Stone.
I still have Stone.
Yeah, he's collecting
cart
Stone.
catalog.
Dewey Decimal System.
Dewey Decimal Systems. So when we talk about that in the policy meeting, then we bring it in front of the full board, I will make sure to make note of that the AI policy and AI generation and AI learning it is not X, it is Y. It's not research projects worried about, you know, kids,
No.
internet safety is completely different. Yeah, that's an easy thing to address.
And that was just there. I think a lot of people, like when they have their first, they don't know because it's,
Right.
and all of a sudden the kids are on Google. And they're good with Google.
My dad gets mad at YouTube when he talks to it and doesn't give him the exact video he's looking for. It's like, Dad, that's not how it works. Well, it should. You're right, Dad.
Maybe next year.
Maybe.
Okay, any other?
Can I start about ChatGPT?
Noting no public comment? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So
Oh,
moved.
just adjourn. Oh, I always hear because it's a committee. Okay,
Motion means
adjourn.
nothing,
I
Ashley.
adjourn.
That's what she just told you.
Oh, yeah, bang the gavel.